wise as you are
wise.
potent. Okay, this thing is definitely not going to do those noises the whole time, so let's
hope
quiet.
not. All right, we're live again.
Cool. All right, we're live? All right, let's do this in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 172, recorded on March 22nd, 2018. On tonight's episode, we discuss the Nindy Showcase that occupied our space for about 11 minutes this week. Also, some really cool other publisher news from Nintendo Switch, a new Joy-Con with a D-pad, and tons of other rumors. Zach, cue that music.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Dads Podcast. My name is Zach Erickson, and tonight is March 22nd, 2018. Joining me tonight from high on his perch at VGTribune.com, the man, the myth, the legend, Jesse Waldeck. What's going on, Jesse?
Pretty good. What am I a legend of? That's don't know.
You know what? That's what I like about you, Jesse. You're a man of mystery. Speaking of mystery, joining us as well is from the land of the South, Mr. Marty Estes. What's going on, Marty?
The only mystery we have here in the South is what is in a hot dog.
I thought you were going to go with the mystery meat in the cafeteria.
Oh, we've got that too. And here's the thing: if you ever find out what is in both of those, you won't want to eat them anymore.
Nope.
So,
and there are some secrets that man was not meant to know.
That's true. My father-in-law refers to a hot dog as having everything but the squeal.
Yep.
There's another one of those Southernisms for everybody.
I think there needs to be like an entire hashtag dedicated to just Southern wisdom. I like it. Very cool. Well, hey guys, we got lots of cool stuff to talk about. Do we? Yeah, sure.
We'll find out.
We have things to talk about regardless. Let's get straight into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, and the news is brought to you by patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. You can be a part of changing the world, or the whatever this nonsense we're doing, whatever that is, doing right here. You can be a part of it. Patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, and for as little as $5, you can go over to to get into the wonderful Discord, all that jazz. So you're
gonna want that Discord. You're gonna want it.
You're gonna I don't even know what that, like, I feel like you're making a reference with that, but I don't know what it is. So
it was just as a little Christopher Walken there.
I like it.
You're gonna want that Discord.
You are. Yeah. Marty, we got some Patreon news.
Yeah. So we've got 3 new patrons, and we also want to say a big thanks to our newest Patreon producer, Timothy Off, for becoming a Patreon producer this week. But we also want to say thanks to Chad Benoist, Tech Mike, and Benji Kong for joining up in the Patreon legions this week. And it's getting better and better. That's all I can say.
You guys are amazing. Right on, man. Well, with that, we've got some stuff to talk about. So late last week, there was an announcement made that, hey, everybody, be excited, be ecstatic, be, just super pumped because a Nintendo Direct is coming. And, or an indie, what do they call it? The Nindies Showcase, which of course last year, the Nindies Showcase was arguably, like, I feel like that was the moment before, and this was before the Switch launched, right? I feel like that was the moment where the discourse changed, and that sort of the tone of the Switch changed a little bit, of like, oh, wait a minute, no, like this is going to be pretty awesome for indie games. This is going to be a pretty awesome time. They showed off a lot of really great games that we were really excited about. I don't know if I have my timing right on that, but but regardless, that is my memory of it, and so that means it's real. You know how that works. So basically, they announced that on Friday and that it was coming the next Tuesday. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they said how long that Indie Direct was going to be.
They did not.
Which I think was a huge mistake. I think what they should have done was stealth drop this thing or announced it on Monday morning instead of Friday. There are lots of things that...
I mean, they didn't even call it a Direct.
Right. Which they didn't call the Nindy Showcase a Direct last time either, though, right?
No. I did some research, and the last time that there was a Nindy Showcase was last year in August.
Oh, okay.
So in Indie Showcase 2017, and just to compare from what we've got this time to last time, we had a 22-minute Indie Showcase last time. This one clocked in at around 11 minutes.
Do you feel like that was? I feel like there were some last-minute things that kind of fell off the wagon here, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
That or they just okay, here are the ones that were announced last time. Were like Super Meat Boy Forever, Shovel Knight, King of Cards. Let's play a game before we get into this time. Okay, Let's play a game and we'll read the games from last time, from August, and say A, have they come out yet? And B, if so, did we hear about them this time? If not, okay? So we'll just do that. Or have we heard about them? I think some of these we heard about them last week too. So, Super Meat Boy Forever.
No,
haven't heard about it. That was launching sometime in 2018. I'll forgive them for that, maybe, right? All they said was 2018 last time. Shovel Knight, King of Cards, launching early 2018.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Okay, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. We saw that
was on the Direct.
Yeah, we saw that in the first one. So there's a 1. We're 1 for 3. Kentucky Route Zero. Oh, great. Now I'm going to have to check. We haven't seen that. Okay.
And I was super excited about that and hoping it would be out by now.
Yeah. And they said early 2018. So SteamWorld Dig 2. Okay, there we go. There's 1. That's
already released.
Yeah. Dragon Marked for Death. Supposedly coming out this winter. Did that happen?
Let me check and see if that's...
I have it not yet released in my list.
Yeah. Okay, and then we're getting into some other ones that now we're like Battle Chef Brigade, Golf Story, 4 Kids, Wolf Blade. That's out. Poly Bridge.
Yeah. Marked for Death. Marked for Death is still marked as TBD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Earth came out. Next Up Hero, we still have not heard from.
Nope.
Right? That supposedly was early 2018. Mom Hid My Game. That's been out. Mulaka came out. Yono and the Celestial Elephants. Morphe's Law. Wait a minute. Where's Morphe's Law at?
Who knows?
Oh, I was hoping to play that game Christmas time.
That game's not even on the Nintendo website.
Oh, jeez, man. So
I really hope that's not one that's going to get lost in limbo.
Yeah. Sausage Sports Club.
I need to know a release date on that game.
That
was the one I was hoping to hear.
Yeah, Light Fingers and the 9 parts.
Sausage Sports Club is marked as fall still.
Yeah. So Light Fingers not shown, and what was the other one?
9 Parchments, which is out.
Yeah, it's out. But another thing too, that right around that, when they did the Nindy Showcase, they also did Nindies at Night. Like really close to that, and they showed Runner 3, which still isn't out. They showed Super Beat Sports, which you and I both have. They showed Worms WMD, which is out, and Light Spear or Licked Spear, Double Spear Edition. It's out.
Runner 3 has a release date of May 22.
Oh, okay, so that's soon. Piku Niku, I don't think that's out.
Gesundheit?
and then Lost Sphere was shown, which is out, and Gear Club Unlimited, which is out.
Yeah.
So
So
pretty good.
there are several games, I guess, in what we're trying to say here is that there are still several games here that they have announced that, and maybe here's the thing, is maybe the Nindies showcase is for either like announcements that it's coming to the Switch, or it is for announcing very soon coming games, right? And it seems like this direct, they didn't give dates to anything, first off, which is a little disconcerting. And by the way, spring goes until the middle of June. So
Okay.
right, and so that like high hopes, low expectations here, people.
Yeah, like today is the first day of spring, or yesterday was, wasn't it? I don't even know.
Right. So a lot of these games we can expect to see in the next 3 months. But let's go through this real quick. Because honestly, let's be real here for a second. This was a pretty underwhelming thing. I think the time was part of it. I think the fact that there are several games that we have been excited for a while, and also it feels like Nintendo is they've got like this weird, I wonder if there's like these weird politics going on behind the scenes about like who gets into a Nintendo Direct. Have these people, I even remember listening to an interview with, what's his name? Shoot, the dude who's in the Direct. Oh my gosh, I'm
Damon.
blanking. Damon, there you go. Even hearing something with him that they have had some indie developers who they like promote, and then suddenly they go dark, or that things take longer than they should, or whatever. My sense is that Nintendo does not like to give those people a second chance. And so if there was a game that
Like Pocket Rumble?
Like Pocket Rumble. I bet you Pocket Rumble, we don't hear a dang thing about that game, and they are going to be in the also releasing this week category.
Yep.
Like, because they have been, they were a huge spotlight. They were going to be launch window sort of game, and then they still aren't out. I think Nintendo is like, okay, you know what? We will put you on the Switch still, but
Here's some games like, well, no, I won't say that. Here's what I want to say before we get into this. You said underwhelming, right? That was your description of this.
You cut out a little bit. Say that again.
So you said underwhelming, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That was your summation of this. I think I've been thinking about this, and this is the best illustration I can come up with about this Direct or this showcase. Have you ever like felt like you were going to have a really satisfying fart, and then you go to fart and it's nothing? Like it's just like
we're gonna say, and you filled your drawers.
Well, no, you're going in an opposite direction, but no, it's like you just think this is going to be like just this big, moment. It's going to be a lot of shock and awe, right? It's going to be sound and fury and everything.
It's not there, and it's just sort of
it just goes, and that's it. That was this showcase. That's what this was. It was a majestic fart in the making that just passed quietly into the night. Or if you don't like the fart illustration, you can just call it the first official Nintendo dumpster fire of 2018.
So it's past gas, P-A-S-T.
Here's the thing.
Oh,
here's the
I
thing.
like it.
Here's the thing that I'll say though, Marty, is that I don't think that any of this stuff, like I there were several games in there that I'm like, oh hey, that's kind of cool. Oh hey, that's weird Stickman cowboy RPG. I don't know, that I'm interested enough in that, but nothing was amazing in here, right? Let's very quickly go through it. So there was Mark of the Ninja Remastered, which is a 2D platformer stealth game. I played it.
Show any footage of.
Right, but this is a game that's been out on other platforms for years, right? It's actually a pretty good game. I really enjoy it. I would definitely recommend it. Fantasy Strike. See, some of these games, man, I don't even remember.
I'm going to be honest with you that this is the one game in this whole thing that I just went, yes.
What was this one? Remind me.
It is the it's the fighting game. It's like the full 3D. Well, not 3D. It's like the 2D with the fully like kind of 3D fleshed out characters, and they're harnessing the elements like wind and water and fire.
Yeah.
To fight, like
So
to be honest,
Avatar: The Last Airbender without the Avatar or the Last
so
Airbender.
many of these games went through them so fast.
Yeah.
There was really not an impression to make other than, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, it's the next game. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Next game.
Yeah. So the next one, so that one comes out in summer, which is cool. Just Shapes and Beats, which is a music rhythm game, it looks like, or something.
Bullet Hell music game.
Bullet Hell music game, that's right.
I'm kind of excited about that one. That one looked out of all of them, it looked like the most unique.
Mm-hmm. Then there's Garage, which is it looks kind of like a GTA top-down GTA kind of game.
It's it's like B-movie horror game.
Yeah.
Zombies and mutants and how long you can survive.
Yeah. Which, it looks fine. Spring. Pool Panic. Pool Panic is from Adult Swim Games,
this is one that I think is has my attention. It kind of has a Gulf Story vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just seems to have that it looks like it should have that type of sense of humor. If it doesn't,
a cool RPG, except your character is the cue ball.
So this one I'm interested in trying out.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of negative reactions to that one, but I'm like, no, I think
it's a little bizarre, like a weird physics sort of game. Yeah. Next one, Bomb Chicken, which, another pixelated 2D platformer, as ridiculous
as
pixelated
chicken platformer.
Yeah, there you go. That's coming in the summer. I just imagine Jules watching the direct. Oh, what the hell! Right?
It's like that episode of Big Bang Theory. Wheaton!
Yeah.
Nintendo!
Yeah. So the next one actually is one that I've heard a ton about this game. Lumines. Never played it.
I played this on my PSP back in the day.
Yeah, I think I rented it once. And, the logo to me, when it was new, the logo that said the title, I didn't see the N, so I thought the name of the game was Loomies for like the longest time. So I see this.
Play some Loomies?
And I see this show up, and that's the first thought that goes in my head is it's not Lumines, it's Loomies. So I don't know.
I'm actually okay with this because I think it was either last week or the week before that I was saying that, like, besides Picross, Nintendo, the Switch didn't have a lot of puzzle games. So I'm okay with this, and I actually like this one. It's one that I don't know that I'll probably wait for it to go on sale. But have either of you guys played it?
No, I haven't.
I played a little bit. I don't remember liking it.
Isn't there a mobile version of this game? Maybe I played it on mobile.
I think so.
Well, yeah, it was a PSP launch title.
Right. No, he's talking about like on iPhone or iPad. I don't know, but
I don't know.
Think about it like this. Like Tetris is, top down, right? You're clearing out lines. And the way you do it is by making a complete line. In Lumines, you combine similar colored blocks into blocks of 4 or larger. And a line scrolls from left to right in beat with the music, and it will clear out whichever boxes you have transformed. And so and the higher you get, the songs change and the colors change, and it can be both relaxing and frustrating. And it's one like you kind of got to get the concept of it to begin with, but like it just looks nice, and the music's pretty good too. I mean, that's part of the experience of it, and that's always been part of the experience of Lumines is having that music. I don't know. Now more and more I talk about it, I'm like, I may pick it up when it first comes out, but if if it's like more than $24.99, forget it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Even-
and that's
even-
I mean that's
Because I can count on one hand the number of times I played Puyo Puyo Tetris since I bought it.
yeah, seriously. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. So that is the where were we? I lost my spot.
Luminous.
We're up to Reigns.
Yeah, Reigns King and Queens looked like some
Looks
sort
like-
of political.
I have this on my iPhone.
It looks like Tinder, kind of. I don't know.
It is.
Is it? Okay.
So basically, what you play as a king, it's got a really good sense of humor. I do like the game on the phone. So,
Yeah.
like, you're the king, and it'll come up and like you have four different, I guess, factions that you have to balance. Like you have like the military, the church, the people, and like I guess the wizards or something like the mages or something like that. And each choice that you do, whether you swipe left or right on the guy's picture, will either take away or add to each of those. If any of those four factions gets their point total to 0, then you lose, and the king is overthrown, and you start over. So there's been Reigns, and there's been Reigns Her Majesty, which is on iOS, and they're putting them together for this one. It's actually really fun. Like you'll have some kings that you'll get bad luck, and you'll last 4 years, which is like 4 swipes, or you'll last 20 years, or you'll last 50 years. And as you go, you complete tasks like meet the king or meet the queen, fall in love or stuff. And when you do that, it actually adds new cards to your deck.
Okay.
And so the next time you play, it shuffles through all of those, and you have new scenarios that open up.
Oh, cool.
And so there is a story to the game, but you may be on your 25th lineage before you complete an objective because you can't figure out. Like I have one on my phone right now where it's like meet the devil. Well, how do I do that? It doesn't give you any, but like there's all kinds of things. Like there's one scenario where you end up in a cave and the cards aren't people. They're like doors and walkways through the cave, and you have to try to find your way out. But that being said, if it's more than $9, because I don't really know how much it is on iOS.
You can buy a bundle with both Reigns and Reigns Her Majesty on iOS right now, and it is $7 Canadian. So it's probably like $5
$5.99, $4.99
for both together.
Yeah, it shouldn't be any more than that.
Yeah.
And this is not a game where you have to have buy things in the game, like you have to have in-app purchases, so it shouldn't be. Reigns Her Majesty is $2.99 on the App Store right now, and I think I got the first one when it was like 99 cents. It was like a deal of the day or something.
Cool.
It's worth $1. I mean, I think that these two together would be worth it, but like I don't know why I'd want to play this on my Switch. Does that make sense?
That kind of opens up a big thing that I was just thinking of like just games on the Switch that are just the general sort of like transferring mobile games onto the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few games that we got even as review codes. It was like red game without a name or something like that. There's a few different ones, and I kind of just I don't know. I'm not a fan of having those kinds of games transfer. Like they don't transfer very well, I guess, is maybe what I'm trying to say.
Some of them do and some of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Totes the Goat transferred pretty well. If you play Totes on iOS, there's a freemium type thing going on, and if you die, you die, and that's it. If you play it on Switch, you get lives.
Mm-hmm.
And since there's no freemium currency, then you're not you're not buying that. So you have extra characters that earn extra money when they go over coins to help you unlock all the characters. I unlocked all the characters in like a week there.
Mm-hmm.
Where on the iOS I probably would never do that.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay with like paying a couple more dollars or paying that to eliminate the freemium part of it. And I say that because there's a game called Slayaway Camp that has came it released on Switch today, and it was actually a game far back in our episode archive that I talked about as like, what have you been playing this week? And I said, well, it's not a Nintendo game, but can I talk about it? Slayaway Camp, and it's like a puzzle horror game where you play as like Jason or one of those B-movie killers, and you slide him around, and when he touches a person, he kills them. And your objective is to kill all the people and then go out through the portal.
Yeah, I played this on your recommendation.
Yeah, and it's actually really cool, except like the Switch. I was looking tonight on the eShop before we started recording, and the Switch version is $15.
Which is nuts, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not paying $15 for this.
That's nutty. Yeah, there's no way they and that's the thing, is just transferring over and suddenly it's, I don't know, no good. So that is yeah, Switch. Well, I think it's also just console game tax, right? So next one up is Lightfall, which is
Celeste with a box.
Celeste with a box. Let me tell you, I know I've said this before, but there's a whole lot of games that are, here's another 2D platform, like indies, please, indies. Hey, indies, another kind of game, please, not 2D platformers. But anyway,
if they follow the way that console games have gone for a while, then they're going to shuffle off of 2D platformers into 3D platformers and first-person shooters only. Please don't do that either.
Next one is.
I want to say something about Lightfall here.
Yes.
I thought it looked great, like visually looked great. In fact, I've seen photos of it since then that are kind of stunning.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this is coming from someone who loves 2D platformers, I don't give a one rip about this game.
Yep.
Like, it looked like Celeste meets Meat Boy in the worst way. Yeah. And I just, like, I'm done with it. Like, I'm okay with like the 2D platformer indie game Shovel Knight or stuff like that, where it's like I can play it at my own pace. But having to do this breakneck run through it, either you do it right or you die multiple times, Twitch-based stuff, I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
And if that's all that we're going to get, like, I don't know, like, maybe something will come along that will make me excited about this title, but like when it stopped, like when the whole direct stopped and they let this have its own little introduction, where they didn't be like, now this title is da-da-da, but they actually just played the trailer and let the audio go. Like, that's one of the games that they're like really banking on, right?
Yeah.
Because they always do that. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't see why this is special.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's made by the people who made Limbo. Whoop-de-doo. Limbo was a way better game than this.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't know. Like, Limbo was a completely different game, and it was amazing. This just looks like they copied Celeste.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even think it's possible that they could have copied it, because it would have been in development for so much longer. But I see what you're saying nonetheless. And it's a time.
Copy's a strong word. I'm sorry.
No, but I see what you're saying. And let's be fair, these 2D platformer, I don't know.
Running together.
But having said that, Celeste has been on the top of the charts for a while now. So maybe I just don't have the same taste that most people have. That's fair too. Next one, having said that, because of this next game, West of Loathing, this cowboy RPG stickman thing. Looks a little like looks weird and kind of reminds me of and I don't know how accurate this is, but what's the Strong Bad Teen Girl Squad?
It had a very Teen Girl Squad-esque vibe to it.
Like if you were to make a Teen Girl Squad RPG in the Wild West, that is what this would be almost. I don't know. At least the art style, I think it's really great.
I need to see, like, it's fine if you're sitting there and you're telling me why it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're saying, this is funny, it's hilarious. Why?
Yeah.
Like, I need to see some of that. Because, like, there's lots of things that people think are funny, and I don't care.
Mm. Well, that's the, is it funny for crotchety old men, is your question. Is that what you're saying?
Ha ha.
That's okay. Hey, man, don't worry about it.
No, I mean, like, is it, Here's the difference. Is it 37-year-old man funny, or is it I can't talk unless it's a meme funny?
Yeah, no, this looked, and I could be wrong here, but it looked like the kind of game that's more of like it's like clever, kind of witty, kind of funny, which is what I would hope. That was the impression that I got from the trailer, but I could be totally wrong on that.
Yeah.
Or if maybe somebody in the chat room too, like I know even when I was talking about this on Twitter, somebody said, "Yeah, no, I played that and it was awesome." So I can't remember who that was now, but I remember seeing that. So I'm looking forward to that. That one comes out spring, so soon. Cool. So next up, what is this one? Poda.
Which spelled like Pode. And even though I know it's Puda because that's what they said, it still looks like Pode to me.
Like when I first watched it, I thought they were saying Fuda.
Yeah.
Like Fuda.
This looked like a co-op version of what was the game that came out that had a crappy frame rate and was a big 3D adventure platformer. Not platformer. It was like a 3D exploration. Marty, you reviewed it. We got a really early 3D game with the island and the terrible frame rate. You don't remember?
Oh, Rhyme.
Yeah, it looked like different character design, obviously, but it's similar gameplay. It kind of looked like.
I love how you said it's the island with the terrible frame rate. And immediately, I knew what it was.
So, like, at least that's kind of what it reminded me of, the gameplay from what I was seeing. It looks fine. You know, it looks like a good time. But and that's coming out in the spring.
That looks like a good one for moms and dads and their kids.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah.
This would be a great pickup to play with my kids.
Yeah. If that is, yeah, for sure. I can see that. Next up, we've got The Messenger, which is a ninja game.
Yeah, this one scares me because on the one hand, it looks interesting, and I'm thinking about getting it because it reminds me of Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it reminds me of Ninja Gaiden, and that's also a bad thing.
not the 3D Ninja Gaiden.
No,
but yeah, the 2D are brutal
NES.
as well. I did see a tweet from someone earlier tonight who is a games journalist, and they said that. I don't know. They said they got a demo of this game. Somehow they got to demo it, and that they said it's really something special, and that it is closer to like as far as where they would rate it for them, like closer to Shovel Knight.
That's actually what I was thinking. Like
Shovel Knight quality.
Like it looks like very, and again. There are certain, like, I can do some kinds of 2D platformers. Like platforming for the sake of platforming, not so much. But if there's like add a little bit of combat into that, you know, like some 3D fighty 2D, you know, or some like 2D action platforming, I guess is maybe what you'd call it. Like this game. And it looks very precise and fast-paced and cool, and I like
the gimmick of the switching back and forth between 8-bit and 16-bit.
Yeah.
But when they announced it and they built it up, it's like this thing that they've not talked about. My first thought was it's going from 2D to 3D.
Yeah.
I thought that we were getting like a Super Paper Mario style, platformer where it's like, oh, so that you're going to have to go from 2D and use your ninja sense to go into 3D. But then they're like, oh, no, it goes to 16-bit.
I was like, oh.
And I was like, oh, well, that's cool, too. But my idea is better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see how this goes. It looks cool, though. I like it's like as they time travel through the adventure. So, like, if you go into the future, then it's 16-bit. And then if you go back into the past, then it's 8-bit again. That's cool. That comes out in the summer. I've got my eye on that one. The next one is Bad North. This is, you defend strongholds in this roguelite, real-time strategy game.
As soon as they said the magic word, I was hooked.
Yeah,
roguelike.
Roguelike and real-time strategy are my two dings.
I was gonna say, so this like what? So this is like a sort of like real-time strategy, as in like StarCraft, Warcraft sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of interesting. I don't know how you do that on the Switch. Like those games require so much. At least for me, the only time I've ever enjoyed them is when I could use a mouse.
I wonder if this is going to be a touchscreen game,
Maybe.
because like having to pick those different, groups of fighters
Mm-hmm.
and move them around, that would be perfect for the touchscreen.
Yeah.
But something tells me you're going to have to move a cursor around with a Joy-Con.
Or maybe if it's a little bit more grid based in how you select them, you kind of like you use the D-pad and go like down, right,
Yeah.
right. You select because it is kind of grid based too, right? So
I was watching this. I don't know if you picked up on this. It looks like there's only 4 colors of banners.
oh, so maybe
So
yeah.
I
maybe,
wonder if like each color is assigned to a button.
Yeah, that's probably that would be a good idea if they did it that way. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited by that one. We'll see. All of these are dependent upon reviews. Like everything that is on here, I'll like the day that it's released, I'll go and see what the reviews are, and if they're good, I'll bite. But I'm not. Or if we get a review code, I guess that's the other option. Finally, the big news for this was that Banner Saga 3 will be coming this summer to the Switch, and that both Banner Saga 1 and 2 will be releasing sometime before then. This is basically it's like a different art style, but it reminded me, and I don't know, maybe people out there know what Banner Saga is. I did a little bit of research myself, but kind of like Fire Emblem, right? Like that sort of grid-based strategy, turn-based sort of deal. So
I know, the only thing I know about them is that King tried to sue them because they're using the word saga in the name. Because
really,
yeah, because this and Candy Crush are too confusing. They have.
I'm totally confused about the difference between a terrible crap waste of time game about candy and a game about giant Viking men vying for land in a horrible, harsh reality where they have permadeath and that's it, and you just have to like it. Totally similar.
I know, I'm confused too.
Yeah, just like Zynga trying to copyright the Vil.
Yeah,
I don't think that worked either.
Yeah. So that is the Nindies Direct. It is what it is. I think there's not a whole lot of, as we went through it again, I think that it was fine. It was if that would have dropped the morning of, or they would have announced it a day before, or if they would have said, join us for a 10-minute direct or a 10-minute video presentation, I think our expectations would have been managed. Nintendo has a hard time sometimes realizing that they need to manage expectations beforehand, and anytime they fail to do that, it always, unless they intentionally,
it always backfires.
Like
unless the announcement has the word "smash" in it.
Right, but yeah, well, the thing is like, unless you're going to be able to blow people's expectations out of the water, you need to set those expectations ahead of time, because then people are going to go in and they're going to have those low expectations, right? That's why we always are going into like high hopes, low expectations, because we've learned that over time. But man, I thought my expectations were low, but they didn't even address anything I was excited about. There's literally no updates on anything that we already knew about, which is kind of a problem when you've got several games that you're looking forward to, and they don't mention any of them, right? Like, where's Shovel Knight? Where's Wargroove? Where's Pocket Rumble? Those are the kind of things that I'm just like, come on, guys.
One that I heard a lot of people talk about in the aftermath of this was Shakedown Hawaii.
Oh, I totally forgot about that game.
That was shown off. It was not even shown at the August Indies.
Yeah, that was an earlier one.
Yep.
But here's the crazy thing to me is that Another disappointment that people talked about was that Hollow Knight was not shown during this direct, which to my knowledge has not been shown during a direct at all, or any kind of Nintendo presentation up until now. Even though it has been confirmed to launch. But then on top of that, there's games that people have asked for that got announced later on that day outside of this presentation by Nintendo themselves tweeting about them. And in that moment, I just face palmed. Mm-hmm. And I saw that and I was like, Nintendo, what are you doing? You have Hyper Light Drifter coming to the Switch, which I've seen multiple people beg for, and you don't put it in the presentation.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
And then just I guess because GDC was going on that day too. They're like, oh yeah, Nidhogg 2 is coming to the Switch too.
Yeah,
which is something that other people have asked for multiple times. But then here's the most bizarre part of it all. So they show Garage off, right? Garage is by Tiny Build. As soon as the direct is over, Tiny Build does their own Nindies showcase, and it's 26 minutes long.
Gee, I missed that one altogether.
And I was like, well, they showed off games like Hello Neighbor, which is huge for the Switch. It's been one that people, they showed some more Garage. They showed other games. I was just like, guys, come on.
I don't understand
this felt really phoned in. And I think I've seen a ton of people like Nintendo, I don't know, just I guess the Nintendo super apologists being like, well, they didn't really say how long it was going to be, and you got to cut them. No, I don't have to cut them any slack. The Nintendo Switch for the last year has been the hottest selling item in video gaming. It's going gangbusters. People are can't get enough of it. Everything that comes out, people are like, it should be on Switch. It should be on Switch. There is such a fervor around this system, and you drop this lazy dumpster fire of a showcase on us, and that's what it was.
I don't know about that.
It was Zach. It was lazy.
No, I'm lazy. I don't think it was. What I would say is that if they would have manage the expectations, I think what you're feeling is the difference between what you wanted and what you got. But what I'm saying is that if you accepted what we got for what it was, that there are several games in there to be excited about, but they're not what you wanted to hear about.
They are, and point taken. There are games in there to be excited about. Here's my thing, and this is my question, and I'm not I'm not agreeing, disagreeing. I'm not saying this to be a jerk because it's going to come out sounding like a jerk, but how do they manage those expectations?
You jerk.
What do they do realistically, knowing that right now, because it's so popular, everything is any Nintendo Switch news is like a huge spike in popular, in just it's like a flash fire. People come to it, and then you're just rolling off Smash, right? Mm-hmm. And how do they manage those expectations? Would it have been better for them? Here's my idea in that. Would it have been better for them to say, hey guys, there's going to be a Nintendo indie showcase tomorrow. It's going to be 11 minutes long.
Yeah.
If they had tweeted that?
Yeah. If they would have, that is honestly, those are the two things that I think is that they should have said how long it was going to be, and they shouldn't have announced it on Friday. They should have announced it on Monday, because the further away an announcement is, right? The earlier you announce something, the more that implies that it's something to be excited about, and they want to have as much build up as possible. Yeah, so that's one.
The hype will be building all weekend.
Yep. That pressure is building all weekend.
Well, people were hoping for a Fortnite port announcement.
I was.
Yeah. There was all sorts of stuff that people were speculating about.
And people were like, "Well, that's not an indie game." Well, I kind of think it is, but
if you have to know that if you announce a Nindies showcase, people, and you don't say how long it's going to be, people are going to look back at what you did before, right? And so you look at the August one, which was 22 minutes long, and you looked at the other one, which was whatever, I can't remember, the first one, but it was a lot of games too. And so you're looking back at those two Nindie Directs. They didn't, it's not too hard. You just have to think, how much hype is there? Is there anything here that's a huge announcement that we're going to be excited about? that everybody is going to know, or is this more about like we're showing off some games that we're excited about? We hope that you guys are too, as the fans. But like there was nothing in here that I saw and thought, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Roger even mentioned, on his on Twitter shortly after too. Why was Undertale announced last week when they could have, when this could have been like that?
This could have been Undertale could have been like the capstone of this.
Yeah. And like that seems like a weird thing to me too.
And here's something that I think they could have done to manage expectations too, is a very brief, like, I won't call it like a highlight reel or anything like that, but just like if Damon Baker had spoken over like maybe video clips or pictures of, and we know you guys are anticipating Shakedown Hawaii and King of Cards and Wargroove and other great titles that are coming to Nintendo Switch from our partners. Understand we're working on those and we'll have news on them as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that it didn't feel like, we shoved all this stuff in your face in 2017. It'll get here when it gets here. Because that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. The silence is deafening at this point. And so
especially on some of those early games.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, Nintendo Switch is going to launch on March 3rd, 2017, and you'll have Pocket Rumble by the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. And again, here, Nintendo, we know that actually we do have people at Nintendo who are listening. We know that you guys are doing the best you can, and like I get that, and so hopefully this is what it is, and like we still appreciate all. And here's the other thing too, is that their job is not to manage the expectations. I think that's something important that I also
that's our job.
Point out, is that their job is to make the Switch a successful, amazing platform where lots of indies want to come in and put their games on there, and their job is not to cater to fanboys' expectations and to make sure that the salt ratio on the internet is at an optimal level. Like that's not their job. Their job is to sell these games and to get as many as they can on here. And so I think that's important too, and to just kind of for me, I think that's a really important, valuable thing to keep in mind that
this has been the first time in over a year where I have kind of stepped back from Nintendo and the whole train, the whole shebang, and said, maybe that wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's been, and I guess that's probably where I'm having the problem is there. I mean, the disparity between there are games I wanted to see and games I would like an update on, and man, Nintendo, you've done everything so good up until now, and this just didn't feel like that caliber, right? Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
What maybe, and honestly, here's full disclosure. What may feel like a dumpster fire to me, there's people that are just like, this is amazing, this is incredible.
I saw them online and I didn't understand it, but I saw them.
Right.
And
I mean, there were, and here's the thing, like, not everything that people put out is going to be for me, right? It's just like you hate 2D platformers right now.
Yep.
You're fed up with them now. Maybe later, you haven't had any a while. You'll get your taste back for those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there was the credit, I guess, to a credit here is that there was variety in this direct or in the showcase. There were puzzle games, there were action games, there were all kinds of stuff. So there's something for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Can I tell you what Nintendo Switch needs more of, though, than anything? I said puzzle games. Where are my racing games, people?
Yeah.
We got Mario Kart. We got Gear Club.
Yeah, we had that question last week talking about sports games.
Yeah, like sports games and racing games. Where are they?
I don't know, dude.
Like, I would really like to see something. Never mind. We've already talked about this enough, but it's a total rabbit trail. But Nintendo should bring back Excite Bike. I said it.
Oh, there you go. Yep. I like it. All right. real quick, we got a few more stories here, and I don't want to be doing this all night long. We got lots more to talk about. Okay, so next up we've got Nintendo hosting both a Smash Brothers Invitational as well as Splatoon 2 tournament at E3 this year. Not much more to say. I think this is a great idea. I think that their sort of esport type tournament things are usually really good. I really loved when they did the Smash Brothers Invitational at E3 a few years ago before Smash Wii U came out. I think it's a great idea, and I also think that what this means is that we may have a little bit of a pre E3 showing of Smash Brothers, because I don't know, like one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to just unveil this at the tournament and that's the first time anybody's ever going to see it, or they'll have some other like Smash Brothers Direct a week or two before E3 and really show it off. You know, but either way, like this is, I mean, it's confirmed. This is like this is going to be like basically one of their big games for E3.
I think this is going to be the E3 game.
You know
how we've had Mario, we've had Zelda. I think you're gonna walk up to Nintendo's booth this year, and it's going to be the boxing ring from Smash Wii U. And there's gonna be like two big statues of characters going at it, maybe like Mario and Donkey Kong or
Inklings. They'll have like the Inklings.
That's a good point. It's definitely gonna be the Inklings.
Yeah, Inklings will be in there. They'll probably have I don't know, Springman or something.
But they will do like a huge info dump at that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. And here's the thing though, is that I wonder if, I don't know, especially if Smash Brothers comes out maybe a little bit earlier in the year, right? Like maybe like the September, October timeframe. I don't know if this covers all of the, like, I don't know if this maybe sounds like sacrilege, but I don't know if Smash Brothers is big enough to cover all the demographics that they're going to want to cover. It's going to cover the hardcore market for sure, right? But imagine a year where, like, and again, high hopes. We're in high hopes territory, people. Like, I realize that low expectations is also part of this. But imagine a year where they had Smash Brothers come out in September or October, and then Animal Crossing come out in like late October or November, right? Or something like that. I'm thinking a game that is more catering to the lighter, more casual side of Nintendo fans. That would be sort of the equivalent of like the like what Mario Odyssey would have been this year too, right? Where it's like it's not like a crazy high paced fighter, right? It's just something maybe a little bit more casual. I don't know. So we'll see. I'm interested to see what else they announce at E3 going along with this. Or here's the other thing, is that it could be like we had Xenoblade at the end of last year as well to go alongside with Mario. That could very well be Pokemon this year. So anyway, so that is,
the chat's hoping for Rex and Pirate and Smash, apparently.
That would be awesome. Like a cool
I think there's an excellent chance you're going to see at least one of those.
Yeah. A combination character sort of thing.
I would say the more likely combination is that you're going to see Rex in the game, and Pyra is going to show up during his final Smash.
Or how about like Rex being kind of similar to Pokemon Trainer, where different moves can send out different Pokemon. He can send out different blades.
Or basically, Marty, to go off your idea too with the final Smash, you have Rex who fights with the red sword and is with Pyra, and then his final Smash turns into Mithra, and then you go ham with that, basically. So I don't know. You never played the game though, did you?
I'm on the prologue.
On the prologue? Okay.
No, I'm in chapter 1. I'm in chapter 1.
Spoiler.
I have Pyra.
There you go. Anyway, that's cool.
Can I go ahead and make one Smash prediction that I think is surefire since we're talking about it?
Yeah, let's go.
Ice Climbers.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's happening.
They gotta come back.
It's happening.
They have to.
Ice Climber fans rejoice.
Yeah. Very cool. Next up, we have Sonic Mania Plus. which I am excited for. I know these characters, Marty. We kind of talked in the pre-show. These characters are a little bit derpy. I think, like, well, I shouldn't even say that. They are characters that they made it sound like they were big, crazy new characters that everybody should be excited for. This feels, though, and I'll tell you why I am actually a little bit excited. These are Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. The character design for these characters and the way that they're announced and like the kind of characters that they are feel like the kind of characters that they would have announced or introduced into a into these games, right? Like it feels like a natural addition for what they're trying to emulate for these sort of retro Sonic games. And so for me, I feel like they are like, I don't know who either of these characters are, but I can tell you right now, I will be getting this DLC day one.
I'm cool with this. So Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel are from Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, which was a Japanese only Sonic game that
it was an arcade game.
It was an arcade game, but get this, the controller was a roller ball and a button.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And so there were lots of like random branching paths, and it kind of was like that weird perspective like Marble Madness is in, like that, it's not 2D, but it's not 3D.
Kind of like isometric.
Yeah. And so like you had to make your characters run around and attack. So I watched a video of it on YouTube the other night because I had no clue what this game was. And so, yeah, I totally get those characters fit with Sonic Mania.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so than some of the characters that were announced, like in Sonic Adventure or other things like that later on. So I'm kind of okay with them doing this, but where I kind of have a problem with the game is like it's coming out physical. It's $30, right? And you're getting some physical rewards with that as well. Well, they're charging for the DLC as well if you already own Sonic Mania, and I think it's going to upgrade you to the Plus version, but it's also $10.
Well, I don't know if they've officially announced that. Everyone's guessing it's going to be $10.
Well, I heard free, and now I've heard paid.
Well,
for DLC.
Yes.
In the initial announcement, it was quite clear that it was not going to be free. They said it was going to be paid. They just didn't give it a price.
Yeah, and
I'm going to bet $10.
10 or 15 probably, yeah. Like somewhere in that range.
Let's see. Sonic Mania was $19.99.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, $10 would put it up to speed, but
you're paying the same as physical, just not getting the extra goodies.
Right, you're not getting the art book. You're not getting and this is the only reason I would double dip and go physical is there's a reversible cover on the physical version that lets you reverse it and make it look like a Sega Genesis game box.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if nostalgia there is worth $10 for me or not, but it probably is because I'm a horrible manager of money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, you're a Sega kid. Does the physical version of this pull at you any?
A little bit, but yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know necessarily, but that's only because I am a working adult now who has to earn every friggin' penny that I make, and so yeah, so I'm more just trying to be really frugal, but it would be nice. I'm not gonna lie, it would be really nice if I were to do that. So, I am tempted, but I'm also trying to not have random crap in my house anymore that I don't need.
Yeah,
and the clutter, the digital, is really appealing for that reason.
Yeah. So my son, I may have mentioned this before, and that's a great point about this. Is I may have mentioned that he's getting the Switch for his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like in 2 weeks, and so. I kind of told him the other day, he's turning 11, so he's getting a little bit older. I was like, hey, bud, chances are you're probably getting a Switch for your birthday. Don't want to say you are, even though we've already bought it. I want there to be that kind of mystery to it, a little bit of a surprise as well. I said, but if you do get a Switch, would you be okay with getting rid of all your Skylanders and maybe using that money to get a gift card or something? And he was like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool. That's fine. So I was just like, well, we'll just head over to the GameStop and trade them in. Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
No.
Yep. So even if it had been like, 50 cents or $1 for each one, we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
They don't take those anymore.
That sucks.
So looks like I'm going to be photographing and posting lots to eBay.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you would like lots of random Skylanders, including the brand new ones, all the way up to the choose your own hero or whatever, let me know, because I've got a son who wants to buy games for his new Switch, and we can work something out there maybe.
Nice. Right on. So that is Sonic Mania Plus. I'm looking forward to it. What is that? Summer? Is that what they said?
Mm-hmm.
Summer. So that is I'm excited for that. Right around 1 year after the original game came out. So look forward to that, everybody. Just a few quick headlines. First up, this came out just today. Hori announced they're making a left Joy-Con with a proper D-pad. However, it isn't wireless. You have to use it in handheld mode. And there are no SL and SR buttons because of that. There's no rumble, and there's no motion. I don't think this thing has motion anyways, right? But basically, if you want to play like Shovel Knight in handheld mode or something like that, or some other sort of 2D platformer with a D-pad, they are going to be selling it. It also means that it's only going to be $25 US, which are, 2,678 yen, and they've only announced it so far for Japan. But
that's coming over here.
Yeah, and I'm interested in that for that much, man. Like I gotta say, like, one of the things is that Nintendo isn't necessarily releasing these really, sort of niche products, but the wired Pro controller is pretty decent. The one that I got from Snakebite, that they sent us, thing's decent. And it was just a wired controller, but those cheaper ones, the more budget controllers, a lot of times they're still pretty decent. The build quality we'll have to see on this Hori one. But because here's the deal: is those Splatoon headphones that I got from Hori, that I bought, that Hori made, not good. They're like not good sound. They sound like a freaking CB radio. They're garbage. So don't get those, people. Even with that splitter, I know that splitter is really cool, and you wanted that splitter, but don't do it.
Hey, speaking of accessories,
yeah,
on the show last week, I was talking about how a lot of people have been talking about since the 5.0 update of the Switch that third-party docks were not working, and were even bricking their Switches. So right now at GameStop, they have all their Nintendo Switch dock kits, the official ones, on sale for $66 in North America, or in the US at least, and that's available on the website too. So if you are one of those people like me who bought a Nyko dock, saying, "Oh, it's $45, this will be great," and you don't want to break your Switch, there you go. There's an option for you. I now have 2 official Nintendo docks.
And how much was it?
It was $66.67.
Oh man,
at GameStop. So yeah, it's like a $20 discount.
I really need another dock, which
was really nice, and it's like I said, you can get it on the GameStop website as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Pro controllers right now, or were yesterday, either at Best Buy or Amazon, were $59.99.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So there's your deal of the day.
Nice, right on.
Yeah,
just because you were talking about accessories.
Yeah,
yeah.
This Hori controller, I'm interested in checking it out, even if they don't release it here, at least in July. This is something I might actually import it from like PlayAsia or something to have a try.
I think it's cool that it's kind of in Mario colors too. So if you have the Mario red Joy-Con,
I don't. I only have the grays.
I know, but I'm saying if you have the Mario red Joy-Con somewhere, some people do. So you could get this one, and you have blue and red.
So I'll have the Bruise system, the black and blue.
Nice. It seems again, like I am all about these sort of slightly cheaper versions that are, you know, that are. I always had like whatever we always bought the like Mad Catz controllers for like the 64 or whatever they were. That were like, you know, the control stick wasn't the greatest and all that jazz. So
yeah, and I never use grip mode anyway. You know, if I'm on TV, I use my Pro Controller.
Mm-hmm.
So, I play this thing 95% in handheld mode. So it's not going to be the lack of wireless on that Joy-Con isn't going to be an issue for me.
I was going to say, actually, you know, that's a really good point. Is if anybody, you know, because the idea that you need to have a D-pad in TV mode, well, then you've already got an option, and that's the Pro Controller. So,
right.
Yeah. So no, that's a good point.
Yeah, I very distinctly remember like having in the Super Nintendo days.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having this thing called. It was made by ASCIiWare, ASCII. How do you? I don't even know how to pronounce that.
ASCII, yeah.
ASCIiWare.
I definitely support the ASCIiWare sort of.
If you want to pronounce it that way, that's fine.
I get behind that.
It was a Super Nintendo controller, and one of my friends had it, and it had turbo for every button that you could turn on.
Yeah.
That either was turbo, like when you just press it down, or it was auto, like you were just would automatically press that button rapidly. And it also had a slow-mo for the game, which was really just
the turbo start button.
Yeah.
But the cool part about it is it had the Y, X, B, and A buttons were in the Super Famicom colors. And
yeah.
So that's the whole reason I wanted it. Like I was like, I don't know what I traded him, but I finally convinced him to let me trade it, and that like became my first player controller for forever. And I have no clue where that thing is now. I would love to have it back.
Yeah, I used to have like a Super NES controller.
I just found
Super
it.
NES Advantage.
$25.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But the thing is it won't work on anything. I don't have an original Super Nintendo, but yeah, like I've always had like knockoff control. Is that the word for them?
Yeah.
Third party controllers. I've always had at least one. Because I think everybody has. You know, it's the one that you make player 2 play with.
Oh yeah, it's a little brother controller. All right, so real quick here, I want to get through these last couple of headlines. The first one: rumor of Diablo 3 coming to Switch is still here, and it was now listed this week on I don't know where, some website.
Cool Shop.
So basically,
in the UK.
So here's the deal that's important, everybody, to just know this is when you see that, you need to understand that is not necessarily a confirmation that this is more realistic now. What it might be is somebody got really excited and put up a listing. And my bet is that that's probably what it is. In fact, given what Blizzard has said since this, there's been a lot of speculation about basically all of this started because they had a GIF of a Diablo nightlight and somebody turning it off, right? Or switching it off. And everyone's like, oh, that means they're teasing the Switch.
But it was tweeted by Blizzard.
But it was tweeted by Blizzard on the Diablo account. And it wasn't even the Diablo account. It was like their main Blizzard account. And I can't remember who it was or where I heard this, but basically somebody asked them, is this what this is meaning? Is this what you're teasing? And the response was essentially, we are not that clever. Like we, and so like, I hate to burst bubbles, but I don't get too excited, everybody. If
it is a thing, is this a game you'd be interested in?
Oh, I would get it in a heartbeat. Absolutely. See, that would be a no-brainer for me. I would do that, no problem.
This is one of those games that I should like, but I don't know if I will, just because I did buy the PC version pretty much on its launch day, and like on previous Diablos, well, that wasn't the issue, but like previous Diablos, you don't have to kill the bosses in one go. You can set up your portal, so if you die, you respawn back in town. You can hop back into the fight and just continue from where you left off. So you can kind of brute forcing it.
Mm-hmm.
on Diablo 3, you can't do that. If you die, the event resets.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
you know the way you get around that is by going multiplayer, and you know, like
Yeah,
I don't know what level I was. Just say I was level 12. You know, I had a level 40 friend saying, "Hey, I'll join my game and we'll knock it out for you." I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that. That's cheesy."
That's lame sauce.
Yeah, so I never did get I that was the end boss of Act 2, and so I never beat that and never got back into the game.
I really like it, and I definitely think it's perfect for the Switch. But yeah, but we'll see. I still think it's a great idea. I don't know if they'll do it though. Finally, Jesse, we've got this thing in here about an Atari box. It has now been shown off as the Atari VCS. But they showed off some controllers. Looking at a price point around $250-$300.
Yeah, and I like the look of there's two controllers they showed. One looks more like your modern controller, two joysticks, D-pad, face buttons, shoulder buttons, etc. And the other one is kind of like a modern take on the original Atari controller.
Okay.
The joystick, and the links I have in the show notes will bring you to images of those controllers. And I really like the way that joystick looks with the LED lights around the circle.
Very cool.
So if you haven't checked that out, look into that. So I'm the way I'm understanding this thing is supposed to be, like, it'll be like packed in with like a bunch of old Atari games, or you can buy old Atari games on a store shop. Plus, it's running Linux in the background, so you can pretty much play anything that can run on Linux. So you can play anything more modern. We just don't know what the processor power is, and so this is more than just your flashback systems, which is why they're shooting for the $250 to $300 price range. But I still think that's kind of high for.
I was gonna say, man, I don't know if anybody cares enough about Atari to pay that much for. Like, I don't care how good it is.
Yeah. If it was like $150, I would say that's enough for you can buy a Switch for that. But if it was like $150, I'd be more interested in checking it out when it launches. But at that price, I don't know.
That's nutty, dude. No way.
$300 for a Atari emulator when I can pretty much get a Switch. Yeah, that's almost DOA.
Yeah, that's too bad. All right, well, let's get into what we've been playing, shall we, gentlemen? Let's do that. Here we go. All right, and today we are going to be we're talking about a few different things. Might as well get the big game out of the way here. So we have been playing. One of the games I've been playing this week.
The small little indie game that just came out?
This little indie game. Actually, I have been playing an indie game this week, too, that just came out. But we'll talk about that in a minute. First off, let's talk about Kirby Star Allies for the Nintendo Switch system. Marty, you've been playing this, too, right?
Yeah. I've actually beaten it.
Like 100% beating it, or?
No, like when I finished the story mode, it said my percentage was 79%.
Wow, that's still,
And I think there's only like 2 or 3 stages that I didn't find like everything in.
Yeah, on the first go around, right? Like,
right.
I feel like I'm only in the second world. I haven't played it too much yet, but my impressions of it are, if you really, if you don't rush through the level, you're probably going to be okay finding. At least that's been my experience so far. Is that you'll be okay finding what you want to find, right? Like the little secret stages or the little switches that reveal the friend shrine or whatever. Dream Shrine, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And so I don't know. Like, I guess it is a Kirby game.
It is a Kirby game.
Like, that's honestly, I don't really know how else to describe it. I've never been like, my son is excited, and as soon as he has his Switch privileges reinstated, we will find out how he enjoys. Which should be this weekend,
so
hopefully.
A little advanced parenting going on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we've got, but as soon as that happens, then we will get his take on it as well. But I think that he is going to. I gave him a little preview today, and you know, he dealt with a situation at school really well, and so I was like, all right, buddy, like here's half an hour, go at it, right? And he was excited by it. So we will see how it goes, but I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know. Like, it's nothing that's going to blow your socks off. If you like Kirby games, you'll probably like this. If you don't like Kirby games, this is not doing a dang thing that's going to change your mind.
No.
So-
I think that's a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's worth saying that if
I don't think
and
any
because
Kirby
it
game
was
will
such a-
convince anyone to like them if they haven't previously liked them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's worth saying that if you've played, and a lot of people like this game, if you played Kirby Planet Robobot on 3DS,
Yep.
this feels a lot like it,
Mm-hmm.
even though it adds in the different mechanics. And I will, I think we should give kudos to Nintendo in one thing for this game, and that is, it's the first game where I've ever had NPC characters as members of my party or as people who followed me around who were not absolutely worthless.
Oh, totally. The AI in this game's great.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you need them to attack, they're going to do that. If you need them to help you with a secret, they're going to do that. If you need them to pull a lever, they're going to do those things. You know, you just kind of have to get in the general direction of that item
Yep.
or that door or whatever, and like a little exclamation point will pop over their head, and then they'll do the thing.
Yeah.
Right. And like discovering all the different ways to combine the powers, you know, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
There's several powers in this game that surprise me, and there's also several powers in this game that, if you're a longtime Kirby fan or Kirby player, are very glaring omissions.
Like
You
what?
know, if you like the wheel, that's my favorite Kirby power of all time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's no wheel. There's no UFO.
Yeah.
They focus. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of the focus is on like combat powers,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the more traditional powers have like, and I'm thinking like of spark or zap or lightning, whatever they call it. It got nerfed so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time I saw one of those lightning enemies, I was like, well, you can be my friend, but I'm not gonna copy your ability because it's crap.
Yeah.
So and just to kind of to tell people who haven't played the game, you have to move Kirby around to generate static electricity so that he can shoot a beam out. But if you don't move and you just want to shoot, then it's these little tiny green beams, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like aura, there's no any of that. But almost all of the powers have multiple ways to use them. Up, down, you know, running, combinations, all kinds of different things. And another thing, this game is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. But again, like Zach said, it's Kirby.
It is Kirby.
It's not fast paced. There are some cool secrets. And I will say this: the last boss is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go ahead and say this: there's 4 stages. Like there's 4 worlds, and if you want to call the last boss a world because you go somewhere to fight him, then that's fine too. So there's 4 worlds. The last world takes about as long to play through as the first 3.
Okay.
So there's tons of content there, and there's definitely some cool little surprises in there. So there's 4 worlds, and then there's the end boss, and then after that, it unlocks some other ways to play through the game, and does so like you're not done, but the story mode is the majority of the game. And I got it on Friday, and I wasn't really able to play it Friday or Saturday, and I beat it on Monday afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. I haven't played it too much. I'm looking forward to it. I I am in this weird moment right now where I'm like, oh, this game is out. I really need to get Nick's take on it more than anything else. And we'll get there. We'll get there. You know,
my son, again, he's about to turn 11. He absolutely loves this. Kirby's like one of his favorite franchises, and I think part of it rests on the fact that it is easy. And you know, like, it kind of makes you, like, I've never thought of it this way, but when you play Kirby, you kind of like it kind of makes you feel BA. You know what I mean? Like, you're playing, it's like, I can do anything. I can turn into a wheel and drive through this whole level, and none of these enemies can stop me. Come at me, bro. You know, know, or I can turn into this rock and drop here, and I'll just sit here, and the enemies can't touch me. And then when they move, I'll turn back into Kirby, and I'll drop on them again. And so, like, playing with the powers and doing all that kind of stuff, I think it really appeals to him. And so he's having fun playing through it. But like, on my file, I'm too much of a perfectionist. That's why I can't play like Mario 3D World or anything with my kids. Like, I'm like, you're forgetting something. You're moving too fast.
Yeah.
And so I had to play through it. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to play through his file with him and help him.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a good, like, that is one of the good, nice things about the Kirby games, is that it's very, you know, you can take your own, you know, you can take your time with it and go as slow as you want, or you can really go, you know, super quick and just pass the game, right? And for a kid to be able to actually play all the way through a game and to pass the game, that's a pretty cool thing. That especially in, you know, there's a lot of games that are really difficult that kids may not be able to do as well with, and so this is a great game that a kid is going to be able to play all the way through. And really feel that sense of accomplishment, which I think is awesome. So that's Kirby. I don't really know what else to say about it other than it's Kirby. I have a couple other games that I wanted to talk about. The first one is it's Crypt of the Necrodancer, which is a game that has been out on the Switch for a while. It's been on Steam, all sorts of stuff like that. It is a rhythm game that is basically like a dungeon crawler, sort of like a 2D Zelda dungeon kind of game, but you have to play it to the beat, and all of the enemies only move when you move, right? And so it's like, and you just go watch the trailer and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about with that. But it's pretty fun. I really like it. It is a little bit more one of the characters in the game is the bard, which basically removes the requirement that you have to move on the beat, and it just lets you move whenever you want, and then the enemies will still kind of move, you know, at a certain whenever you move. But it's anyways, so I found that to be much easier. I'm sure that's the whole point of that character, but it's pretty fun. I really enjoy it. It is. I need to go back and I need to get a little bit more into it. I beat the first world or whatever it is, the first dungeon. There's like 5 different levels or something like that. I beat the first one and it was pretty fun. I liked it. I need to play it a little bit more. The other one that I have been playing that I haven't seen a lot of buzz about, but I've really been liking it, is a game called Tesla versus Lovecraft, and basically it is I am learning more and more that I really love dual stick shooters. This game is it basically takes place, you know, in the sort of early 19th century, you know, maybe like when was Tesla alive? I don't know.
1800s. I don't.
Was he?
I don't know.
I don't know. Like the turn of the century, like late 1800s, early 1900s is kind of where
1920s.
Yeah, like somewhere around there. Anyways, you play as Tesla, and the beginning of the game is like Tesla showing off some cool electrical contraption thing at a presentation, and then Lovecraft, which if you don't know who Lovecraft is, H.P. Lovecraft is a fictional author or a fiction author from who was kind of in the, you know, around like the 30s ish. I don't know when he was, you know, when he was doing his around the 30s. And he is the one who is responsible for creating Cthulhu. He did a lot of stuff about, like, if you know sort of the archetypal sort of like Fishman, what is it, sort of like the it's not the swamp thing or whatever it is, the creature from the Black Lagoon. I think the creature was kind of designed around sort of these fish creatures that Lovecraft had created and all sorts of stuff like that. He wrote At the Mountains of Madness, which is all about like aliens from outer space that come, and the old gods and like great old ones, all that sort of stuff. It's really eldritch horror kind of stuff. And basically Lovecraft shows up to Tesla's presentation, is like, you stop messing with things that you don't understand. And then Tesla, like, the whole point of it is Tesla has all these like crazy weapons. Lovecraft is almost like summoning these weird monsters, and so it's Tesla versus Lovecraft. And so you're like, you collect different pieces in a level, and it's like, again, like a sort of not bullet hell isn't the right word, but like a twin stick shooter where there's just like hordes of enemies coming after you, and you kind of got to survive, and you collect different pieces of Tesla's mech armor to create like this huge mech, which of course Tesla has a mech because that's how it works. And it's just like, it's lots of different stages and stuff to that you can play through it. I've played through the first plane, I guess, and like the first difficulty level. I really enjoy it because I'm a big Lovecraft fan, and I'm kind of catching all the different references and stuff in it as well, which is cool. But yeah, it's really fun. It is on the eShop. I think it's $15 maybe. Mm-hmm. So it's not too bad. And I guess like you can teleport around in the game too, and there's primary and secondary weapons and all that jazz. So it's sort of like a top-down shoot 'em up kind of game, which I really enjoyed. So check that out. It's called Tesla versus Lovecraft. Super cool. I really enjoyed it. So those are the games I've mainly been playing this past couple of weeks. So Marty, what have you been playing?
Well, I've also been playing Bayonetta for the Switch, and I think I may have talked about this past week some, but I finally finished the game. I beat it, and it makes absolutely zero sense, but I don't think it's supposed to.
Nice.
And I mean, it's fun. I played like I was on chapter 6. And I just sat down one day. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna beat this game. And over the next like couple of days, I finished it up. But the way that I did that was I swapped the difficulty to the easy difficulty, which like basically does automatic combos. Like you just push the button and it kind of fights for you. And I found out it's much more enjoyable to play that game that way. Because if you don't care about the story and you just kind of turn your mind off so that you can play this like really great looking beat 'em up game, then that difficulty gives you exactly what you want. And so like I got to the end of it and I was like, wow, that story made absolutely zero sense, and I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
But like, and I know we may have talked about this before, or it's probably been talked about because the game is older. Like, I don't know if either of you guys have played this, but like, I get kind of freaked out by Bayonetta's proportions. Like her legs are like longer than her entire body, and that just kind of creeps me out a little bit. Like I play it, I'm like, God, it's and like this animation in the game, and I don't know, I guess it was just like the way it is. Like if she's standing still, like she's leaned back at this weird angle, and it's like it almost makes her look like a greater than or a less than symbol.
Oh, really?
It was like if you make her walk instead of run, and even if she's running, like it just kind of looks like the video game adaptation of Monty Python's The Ministry of Silly Walks. And so, like, there's just some of those things like that took me out of the game. But overall, like, I'm glad I played it. I guess I'm about to start work on Bayonetta 2.
Endorsements.
I guess, like, well, no, like I said this in the Discord chat, and somebody's like, "Well, are you not going to play Bayonetta 3?" And I was like, I don't know. Like, if I have is it bad to say it? Maybe if I have a gap in my schedule, I'll play it. But like, I generally like those type of games, but like, and I know fighting games generally don't have a story that's all that worth following, but this one was really nonsensical. Like it just like there were like just huge gaps in the story, and they all try to feel like in the very end, like they try to finish it and all make it all fit, and it just doesn't. It was kind of like Lost as a video game. They tried to tie it all up, and it just didn't work.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't.
But I've heard that, and I'll say that I've heard that Bayonetta 2 improves on a lot of things about the games.
Too. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to playing that actually.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. Is that it's quite a bit better in that sense. All right. So, anything else you've been playing?
Well, yeah, I've been playing this little game. I've not really talked about it on the show much, called Enter the Gungeon.
Oh, I've heard about that. That's pretty good. I've heard that's good.
It is. It's actually it's a nice little indie title. Not hard at all. I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah, I saw there was somebody online who was asking if it was good, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll check that out. That's good.
But no, it's sucked me back in for the good part of this week, and I've just been playing it, trying to get farther. Actually, trying to beat it. With one of the characters, I can usually get to like the third level of the Gungeon, no problem, and then that's when I really start struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight, I almost had that third boss beat. The what's he called? The cannon. It's like cannon holder or something like that. It's like a big skull thing, and it's really hard to beat. And I just messed up. Like I just got in a bad position, and he destroyed me.
Not the beholster. That's different, right?
No, it's like the cannon boulder, or the cannon balder, or something like that. It's not the beholster. No, this is a skull.
Mm.
And he pretty much broke me off.
Nice.
I got in a corner, and he does this weird attack where he gets really dark in the room, and like you just see his eyes, and then he shoots like 5 giant bullets at you, and then they bounce all over the room, and he does that 3 times. So you've got like 15 bullets bouncing all over the place.
Oh,
and he just kind of boxed me in, and there was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
And that was like right before we started recording, and I was like, oh crap, I'm going to be late.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Right on. Marty. Jesse, what have you been playing, dude?
Yeah, I actually haven't been playing anything this week, outside of the normal puzzle games that I've talked about a lot, so I won't talk about that again. But one thing I do want to talk about is I picked this up while we started recording tonight. Blossom Tales, the Sleeping King.
Yeah.
So I heard there was a news article. We didn't talk about it in the news section, but I can bring it up here.
Oh yeah.
This game released on the Switch like in late December, like the week of Christmas, and between then and about 2 weeks ago, there was an interview with the developers. They said they sold 20 times the number of units on the Switch.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Than they did in Steam on its lifetime sales, and it's released almost a year ago, late March last year on Steam. So this is a game that's slipped under my radar completely. I didn't hear this, but it's kind of like a Zelda-like 2D.
It looks very Zelda. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I figured I'd pick it up and give it a chance. It's actually on sale for 15% off. It's normally $14.99 at US. It was marked down to $12.74.
Mm.
And so, in buying that, I also found out then how the eShop handles the gold points, using them as currency and receiving new ones.
Right.
So, like within the old system, even if an item was discounted, you got the gold coins based on its original value.
That's not the case anymore, is it?
That's not the case anymore. So if it was, then I would have gotten the full 70 or 75 coins for 5% of 15. But so it was the discounted price of $12.74 minus the almost $5 from the gold points that I had. So I only had to pay $7.81. So I got 40 gold coins based on that discounted price.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like it's a little bit like Nintendo's being a little bit more like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't just because a 5% on that is fairly, I think we kind of talked last time about how they used to give 10% on other stuff, but I think part of what the difference was with that is that I think we forget is that was part of the digital deluxe promotion, and you had to buy a more expensive Wii U in order to get that discount.
Right. And you couldn't just use the points as you go. You had to save up $10 worth and redeem an eShop card.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you basically just got a code, right?
Yeah. So now I used all my gold points to buy this to get 40 gold points. So the next thing I buy, I'll get 40 cents off.
Yeah.
So there'll be that 40 or 50 cents just continually rotating.
That my Nintendo money is what that is.
Yeah.
Very cool. So so that's interesting.
So that'll be something I'll be playing and probably we'll talk about next week. And then tomorrow, Detective Pikachu comes out.
That's right. That's out right now, right?
Digitally it's available now. But I ordered it. I pre-ordered it through Amazon to get it physically because it was Prime discount plus as a game I think my kid might like. So I figured I'd get this one physical. And it was shipped. Yeah. I got a notification that it shipped on Tuesday from the northeast area of the nation, which is currently having snowstorms.
Oh, good.
So
lucky you.
So then I got a notification on Wednesday. Yeah, it's kind of stuck in the snowstorm. It's somewhere in Maryland right now. And then I got a notification this morning. Yeah, it's still in Maryland.
Oh, that
so
sucks.
I checked before we started recording. It's now in Pennsylvania. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to get it tomorrow.
Mm.
Even though Amazon is saying I could get it before 11 p.m. tomorrow night. But, yeah, I'm not holding my breath. I should get the amiibo tomorrow, but I'm not going to get the game tomorrow.
Yeah. Sometimes those updates are a little bit late though, so it could be on its way from there by now. I don't know.
The timestamp was like 7:30 p.m. Central of it being in Pennsylvania. So it would literally, you can drive Pennsylvania to here nonstop and you'll barely make it by midnight. I think.
Touché.
So
right on. Well, with that, gentlemen, I think we've got time for one email real quick here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into that then. All right. Oh my gosh, that's a long email. Let's not do that one. All right. So
I've got it. There's a couple of shorter ones. I think we could probably tackle both of those.
All right, let's do those.
Okay, so Chris from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Hi, Chris. Writes in and says, I've heard conflicting stories about the GameCube adapter for the Wii U. Does the Nintendo Switch support it or not? Which is a relevant question, seeing as how Smash is on the horizon.
So I think here's the thing is, the way the question is worded, does the Nintendo Switch support it?
Yeah, I think officially no.
Officially no, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work.
Yeah, because when they did the update to allow for USB controllers,
yeah,
it worked.
Yes.
Then Game Explain did a video showing that it worked. Then I think there was an update that might have made it unwork, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
My brother actually texted me a couple of weeks ago and was like, dude, I didn't realize that the freaking Switch, the GameCube controller thing worked. I was playing Mario Kart last night and it was amazing.
So it still works.
So I think in certain games it still works. What you have to know is that not all the buttons are there. And so depending on the game you're trying to play.
Right. There's no plus and minus and things like that.
Yeah, there's no plus and minus. I think there's no Z button, right? There's the Switch doesn't have a Z button, right? Sorry, I forgot I have to localize this sense.
No, they have the ZLZR.
Right, but there's no Z button. There's no Z button in general, right? And
on the GameCube, yeah, there is. There's one.
No, that's what I mean. Is there's no Z button on the Switch, right? And so that
Oh,
button.
there's no single Z button, but they have ZL and ZR that generally will represent the same as a Z press if it was a GameCube game. But you can't differentiate between L or R from GameCube going back to the Switch.
So I don't know if those buttons do anything on the GameCube controllers right now because they're not supported, and so there's no way to remap them or anything like that either.
Right.
So
yeah, I imagine when Smash comes out, it will. Again, this was my prediction, and I still think it's going to happen. They will do a re-release of that GameCube adapter that'll be just Switch branded instead of Wii U branded.
Yep.
And hopefully re-release GameCube controllers again. And
so. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what happened to mine. Mine is somewhere in this mess of an office, and so if it does get re-released, I'm probably going to have to pick one up.
Yeah, I definitely I can't imagine that they would release that adapter and then not support it for Smash. Like I think there would be riots if they did that. So I would say just look forward to potentially maybe at one point, but in the meantime, if you have one, then I don't think that it is going to break your system by using it. So although Nintendo,
I actually found mine the other day. And so I will. I'll try a hands-on test and just see.
Do it. Let's.
I forgot we had this question, and I knew like I'd found it, and I was like, oh, I'll try that, and then life happened, and so I will. I'll give it a test run and see. I've got a GameCube controller sitting around somewhere. I'll see if it'll at least work, with Mario Kart or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think the game, having the controllers mapped and different things like that to different buttons, I don't know that it all is going to work all that well.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll definitely be on a case-by-case basis depending on what game you're trying to play. Yeah.
It'd be great if we could use it for Smash, but if not, okay.
Yeah. Although, like I said, there will be riots if you can't do it because.
Yeah, I know, but I honestly preferred using the Wii U gamepad for Smash.
You're one of the few on that one.
And here's the thing: is that the competitive scene wants a wired controller, and so I can't imagine they're not going to cater to that at some point.
I can't play competitive Smash because I can't stand all that clicking and flipping and cancellations and all that stuff. Just play the dang game.
Yeah. My son's fairly decent at it, and he has participated in some tournaments and was not knocked out in the first round. He prefers he played on a GameCube-like controller that connects into the bottom of a Wii remote. So when he went to the tournament, he brought his Wii remote in that controller and just paired the remote to their system, and that's how they played it.
Nice. All right, Marty, you got another email?
I do. And our last email of the day comes from Brent Babin, and he asks us this question. My 4.5-year-old daughter has recently decided she's interested in games. She has a blast playing Mario Kart with the steer and control assist on. Outside of that, she hasn't been overly interested in many other games, so her experience with a controller is limited. Are there any games you can think of that are on Switch that would allow for an assisted mode and or minimal button pushing for her? I'm hoping Kirby would be good for her, but giving her limited experience with games, I'm afraid she would have to work up to those controls. Thanks for any suggestions or tips. The first game that came to my mind was Mario Odyssey.
With the Cappy mode?
With Cappy mode.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But
not a bad idea.
Again, if she's not used to using a controller, I don't know that would be, because there's going to be some very critical moments where Cappy needs to stay still, right?
Yeah.
And not make Daddy fall down in a giant pit of doom when I needed to jump off of Cappy.
I think Kirby would be a good game as a starter, and yeah, she may have problems at first if she's still getting used to how to use a controller, but I think it'd be a good game to start learning those skills.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I do believe that the Kirby, the way the co-op works is it's drop in and drop out. So if she is playing and suddenly gets tired of it and you want to keep playing and finish a level, I think that's entirely doable.
Hmm.
Uh,
Just looking in the chat here, somebody's suggesting snipper clips. I don't think that's a good idea. I think that you underestimate.
My wife and I struggle to play snipper
Yeah,
clips
that's-
together.
Well, the controls are simple. The skills
true.
to actually solve the puzzles would
the spatial
be complicated.
the sort of like, yeah, the
Spatial awareness is
spatial
high.
awareness.
But sometimes, but for a 5-year-old, it might be fun just to sit there and just clip the other people away.
Yeah, like there's some party mode. There's some party mode sort of stuff in there, like I think they call it like the dojo or something.
Yeah.
And literally, what you do is run around and snip each other, and then until somebody wins.
Yeah, last man standing.
Yeah, that mode could be fun, but it's literally just mash buttons and then somebody wins. So that could be fun, but yeah, I think honestly Kirby, and given how old she is, I think honestly I guess I would just say at that age, it's just as much about spending time with dad than it is anything else, and so just whatever it is, just kind of enjoying that and not necessarily worrying about like, oh well, she's not really getting it. Like if she's getting frustrated, then it's like, okay, well maybe we'll try something else, right? But
I'm going to go out on a limb here and throw out another game. One that maybe you, Brett, that maybe you and her could sit on the couch and play together is, again, it's one of those that like maybe you don't really care about the outcome, is World of Goo.
oh, that maybe is a good one, yeah.
Because if you haven't played that, it's completely touchscreen.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be one that you two could play together. And at least if like it's the Goo building game, maybe you don't complete the level, but she has fun building a tower and you get to share that, time with her.
Yeah. Another one that
I think a lot of times we don't think about these issues, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all pretty controller adept.
Yeah.
But what about people who aren't? What offerings are out there on the Switch for them? And quite frankly, they're few and far between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Another one that I'm thinking of too is any of the Lego games on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking on here right now. Lego City Undercover is 40 Canadian, so I'm guessing that's 30 American. That is probably like, I remember my son was probably about, I'm trying to remember how old he would have been now. He probably wouldn't have been that much older than 4. Like he was probably like 4.5, maybe 5 when we got that original Marvel game. He is like 7.5 now, and so that first Marvel superheroes game, like we played the crap out of that game, and those are really fun split screen sort of things where really you can just kind of play the game in split screen mode, and you can kind of go and do your own thing and kind of play through the level, and then like every once in a while, like, oh hang on, I need you to switch characters because you're clearly not going to be able to beat this part with this character who needs this ability, but those games are really fun as far as couch co-op with kids too. So those are other ones.
Oh, I was going to think the Marvel games or the Lego games.
Yeah,
definitely. But I don't know so much. There's been some issues with Lego Marvel Superheroes too. So maybe Lego City Undercover, because the cool part about that is because it is that giant sandbox world. If she just wanted, like if she learned how to drive a car and she just wanted to drive around, she could do that.
Yeah.
Or she could walk around and look at all the people, or do quests, and like you can. The great thing about the Lego games is if you do get stuck and it's like, okay, I cannot do this while you're playing, you can be like, hey, drop out for a minute, right? And you can drop her controller out, and then you can bring her right back in when you're done and you're ready. But yeah, there's not a lot of not a lot of games I think that parents can enjoy with more with kids who aren't gaming adept yet.
The game I'm thinking of, not for the single player because that'll be too complicated, but maybe the multiplayer, Mario and Rabbids. You can take your time setting up your moves, it's it's not so you can a good slow paced game for people learning how to use a controller. I think.
Yeah.
It'd be a a good game to play more like the head to head or co-op where to talk strategies and help her along with that.
Absolutely. I think those are all good suggestions. And Brett, if we have some others, we'll try to hit you on Twitter. I'm scrolling through the list of all available Switch games right now, just trying to look for something to send your way. But all of those I think are good, solid selections.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks for writing in. We appreciate it.
Right on, man. Well, absolutely. Thank you, good sir. And with that, gentlemen, I think that is a show that has been done, and it is a success. So that's it. So thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode. Marty, what do we got going on in the next in the future?
Pretty soon we're going to be recording a Retro Rewind episode for Final Fantasy III. Also, very soon we will be putting up a poll for the next game for that Retro Rewind. So be looking for that over on Patreon. Also, both Justin and I have both done Ask Me Anything videos over on our Patreon as well. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you can go check those out. Lots of fun little questions there. And then just be watching the next space. We have some really exciting things coming up with Nintendo Labo, which is going to be launching very soon with a really neat opportunity we believe that Nintendo is going to allow us to have. So YouTube, you can go find us over at Nintendo Dads. Just search youtube.com/Nintendo Dads. Will take you right there. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All of it, of course, is Nintendo Dads. And then, download this podcast and share it with your friends. And look, the best way to tell us that you love us is by giving us a review and sharing this podcast with your friends so that they can come and get some of the Nintendo Dads love as well.
Absolutely. Right on, man. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to the show. Like Marty was saying, just go and share the love on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Nintendo Dads. Email us, nintendodads@gmail.com. Twitch or YouTube, videos are there. You find it. It's amazing. You guys are all awesome over there. Make sure you're subscribing. Call in and leave us a voicemail, 92925-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Huge thanks to OC Remix for our music throughout the show. And, of course, if you want to change the world, go over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. Written reviews are even better. And if you want to subscribe, do so on your podcatcher thing of choice. For me, for Jesse, for Marty, and for Justin, who is not here, but we love him anyway. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Stupid kids. Oh, that's Justin's going to be happy. That's the new show in.
Yeah. Here, Justin, this one's for you, too.
Wobble puff it. Wobble it.
Didn't want you to feel bad.